Today I thought we'd talk about reusable rockets because there's a SpaceX launch coming up tomorrow morning. I am definitely going to try and watch that if I can get myself out of bed in time. But first, it's an absolutely glorious morning here, so I am going to go for a little fly of my drone, the old Phantom 4. Figured I'd see if my new battery's going to work or not. Tell you what though, it's not all that warm here. It's beautiful, but it's not warm. SpaceX is launching JCSAT-14 at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning UK time. I believe it's going to GTO or geostationary transfer orbit, which means it's going to be going high and fast, and that's going to make recovering the first stage booster all the more difficult. But obviously SpaceX are going to have a go because that's just what they do. The big question is, why does SpaceX bother with all the hassle of trying to recover these first stage boosters? Well, the reason is simple. When you take a flight to America, they don't throw the plane away when it lands. If they did, flying to America would cost millions. Obviously, as Elon Musk likes to say, what's needed is rapid reusability, and once they get there, what it will do is drop the price of access to space by at least a factor of 10, I would have thought, and possibly as much as 100 over time. Why is cheap access to space worth having? Well, the reason it's worth having is because there are certain materials that can only be created in space. There are certain science experiments that work significantly better in space. Things like, space telescopes easily outperform the ground-based ones because they don't have to look through the atmosphere. And quite apart from all the science that you can do with cheap access to space, you've also got a huge amount of materials in space, resources. And then of course you've got the things that you don't want on Earth, which space would be a very convenient place to put them. I'm thinking in this particular case of spent nuclear fuel rods. It's the biggest drawback of nuclear power is that there's almost always quite a large amount of radioactive waste that needs to be stored for 10,000 years. Well, storing something for 10,000 years is a long-term investment project. But equally, we do want to try and keep the lights on whilst not destroying the environment of our precious little blue planet. So, space is a fantastic place to store your spent nuclear fuel. You just fly it off to some moon somewhere that you don't particularly have any other use for, and you dump it there. And then in 10,000 years' time, it's all just gone. And nobody's visited it, and nobody's got hurt, and you don't have to worry about earthquakes or contamination or anything. And then of course you've got population and spreading the risk, as Elon Musk likes to call it, of populating multiple planets, and those are all worthwhile if somewhat lofty goals as well. Just like with electric cars, it's actually scary how advanced Elon Musk and his business are compared to the competition. If I was United Launch Alliance or Arianespace or Boeing, I would be quaking in my boots right now, because it's not going to be long, I think, before SpaceX has got a stockpile of used boosters which have been designed right from the outset to be reusable. They've been working on being able to reuse the engines and all the rest of it since inception. And I personally think there's absolutely no reason why you're not going to be able to pretty much refuel them and refly them more or less without having to do anything more than the checks they would normally do anyway. So yeah, that's my advice to the competition. You need to get a move on, or you're going out of business. I highly recommend that everyone should watch one of these SpaceX launches, the live webcast, at least once. I think it's fascinatingly interesting, and you learn so much about orbital dynamics and what it actually takes to get something into orbit, which can be a bit counterintuitive for us mere Earthlings. But I don't actually recommend that you watch the one tomorrow morning, because I'm going to be watching it, and I have a terrible track record with watching SpaceX launches. I think I watched one, the launch successfully, and the landing put a hole in the drone ship that they tried to land on. The next one I watched exploded, and the two I've watched since then have been delayed, and they didn't actually launch on that date at all. My brother gave me a gift card for my birthday at Matt Plains. I love this store, it's fantastic. Geeks heaven. Right, Jasper, go on then, give it a blast. Do you like it?
Ding, ding.
I don't know about you, but personally, I always like the idea of the future of mankind being exciting and interesting, and space is always a part of that. Whenever you look at sort of sci-fi, there's always a strong space element, and that's what excites me so much about SpaceX, is it makes me believe that actually an exciting future where what used to be science fiction becomes reality is a possibility. What about you, Jasper? You want to live in an exciting world? Yeah? You give me a thumbs up? Yay! No, without the finger. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. There you go. Top stuff. I hope you've all enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you all tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye! That was awesome.
You said awesome again.
Yeah, I like the word awesome. 'Cause it's awesome.